Apparently, there's a place that's trying to beat Chicago, Detroit, anywhere in the Middle East during a war for the most dangerous place on the planet. Hey, it's your buddy Moo Juice Magic here, and we're going to take this to New York subway yet again because apparently they're trying to be the least safe place on the entire planet. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit because there's a lot more that goes on everywhere else. Before you guys try to rake me over the coals for that, let's be real here. But we just recently had an illegal immigrant who's been expelled from our country already. He just lit a woman on fire while onlookers did nothing to help her. And even the cops that showed up did nothing to help. In fact, everyone did this with their phone and goes, ooh, ah, oh no, oh, thoughts and prayers, oh no, TikTok views, getting views, yes. They love that shit. They love their dirty laundry, as the song goes. And that's what they do. Instead of trying to help, they stand by and let someone be killed. Because that's the world we live in. Because when people do step in and try to help, they end up getting arrested in New York, like Daniel Penny, arrested for doing the right thing on a New York subway. Go figure. So on Christmas Eve, we're going to go for this news story here. And let's see if I can get the right screen up.
A random and violent and seemingly unprovoked Christmas Eve attack here at one of the busier train stations in the city. We do know that police were quickly able to arrest the suspect, but that suspect also had multiple prior arrests. Here's what we know of what happened yesterday evening. It was around 10:15, according to officials, on a northbound 456 train platform when the 28-year-old suspect approached a 42-year-old man. They got into some sort of argument over what, we don't know at this point, but it was then that he slashed the man in the wrist with a weapon and then ran up nearby stairs. Then, according to officials on the next level of the train station, he slashed a 26-year-old woman who was standing near a turnstile, and he slashed her in the neck. He then tried to escape, according to the NYPD, heading up an escalator, but other subway riders, witnesses to the incident, were able to point him out to police. He was quickly arrested, and police did find a knife on him. Officials say the 28-year-old has 3 prior arrests for criminal mischief, fare beating, and assaulting a police officer. Now, charges for that suspect at this point, this morning on Christmas morning, are still pending.
That's just the 3 priors he's been caught for. Let's be realistic. We have an article here from Christmas Day. Alleged Grand Central slasher cries out for his mom at first court appearance for unprovoked New York City attacks. I didn't know you were here. So we have a name for this guy too, don't worry. The man accused of 2 unprovoked slashings at Grand Central Terminal on Tuesday night cried out for his mother at Christmas Day court proceeding as a Manhattan judge ordered him held on a $150,000 bail. Jason, no relation, Sergeant, 28, was arraigned on charges of assault and attempted assault for what prosecutors describe as incredibly serious knife attacks on 2 people in the city's biggest train station on Christmas Eve. It seems kind of like they're underplaying it once again by the district attorneys in New York. Prosecutors called it incredibly serious knife attacks. After his brief Wednesday night appearance, Sergeant, a Brooklyn native, noticed that his mom was in the courtroom. Wait, Mom? I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you were here, he called out frantically as he was swarmed by court officers. Oh, you want your mommy? You didn't realize that your mom was going to see how big a piece of shit you really were? So you could lie to her later and so she could say, my baby didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. Wait, he wailed as the officers dragged him out of the courtroom. About 24 hours earlier, Sergeant was screaming, F all these people, before he allegedly slashed a 42-year-old man across the left wrist on the stairs of Grand Central Station's southbound entrance, prosecutors said. The victim was bleeding profusely at the scene. No shit. They cut him deep in the wrist. I don't know if you guys know this. Your wrist, once it does this weird thing where if it's cut deeply enough, blood starts spurting all over the place because there's arterial stuff in here. There's arteries in here. And that pumps a lot of blood out really fast. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but it's not a cool effect to see in real life. So yeah, it's a pretty big issue. An assistant district attorney said in court he suffered a deep cut to his wrist. Play it down a little bit. Play it down, why don't you? Lost a significant amount of blood, requiring a tourniquet to be applied on the scene, and was taken to Bellevue, where he remains for treatment. The suspect's tirade continued as he ran up some stairs, got into an argument with 26-year-old woman Imana Ciara Pizarro. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, young lady. It's not my fault. Before punching her in the back of the head and stabbing her in the throat near a turnstile, according to prosecutors. At least they made that one a little more aggressive sounding because it was against a woman. He first punched her in the face before then lunging at her with a knife, causing a small cut to her neck, prosecutors say Wednesday. And there they play it down. Again, the neck, a small wound there can't possibly cause any problems, right? This guy knows, like, the vital spots of the body to be attacked. It's like he found one of those weird books they would sell in Black Belt magazine that shows where to attack during a knife fight. Pizarro, 26, told the Post she was on the phone with her friend and neighbor when she was attacked. I wish I could be able to travel to my livelihood and not be attacked. I wish there were cops in Grand Central when I was attacked. There were none. I was running for help and there was no one there, she said. Oh, it's almost like maybe they tried to defund the police. Wonder where the cops could be if they don't have, cops. Now, this is what the suspect looks like. I do have a picture of him for you. I bet you can guess. If you guessed right, let me know in the comments below. This time it's not an illegal immigrant, so that's a nice change of pace. This guy is actually a Brooklyn native. So Sargent had 3 prior arrests, as they said in the news report, for his criminal mischief, fair beating and assaulting a police officer, according to sources. Now, those are just the things that he's been caught for, we know, that he's been arrested for. Who knows what other shit this guy has done before, because usually, that's a pretty heavy escalation from fair beating to assaulting an officer, which could just mean, you were resisting arrest and popped him on the nose on accident with your elbow. Big deal. We don't know what that assault was. And then to go and slash 2 people, in vital spots of their body. Screams intent to me, but, I would have gone with attempted murder if it goes for the neck or the wrist. The prosecutors there won't because this guy's not white. And that's just a reality. In New York, they don't go after you for a serious crime unless you're a white guy. They've proven that. It's a track record that New York district attorneys have. And there's a reason we need to get into these DAs and start weeding out these shitty judges and these DAs who don't care about the law and they only care about the stigma. And that's a problem. Restorative law is not a real thing. It's not law. it's stupid. And unfortunately, it's plagued. That system over there is plagued with it. Same with California. It's pretty disgusting. But that said, the bigger things to me that bug me, you're in Grand Central Station. There's tons of people around. This dude just slashed a dude and then stabbed a girl in the neck. I understand you're putting your life on the line by trying to jump on this dude, but I would have. I 100% would have tackled this son of a bitch. And if he would have slashed me, cool. I've been stabbed and I've been slashed before, and it sucks. But I guarantee you, the knife would have gone into him a lot more than it went into me, because I would have taken it from him, and that probably would have been his last day on earth. And then I would have ended up in jail. I would have ended up on trial like Daniel Penny, and eventually the charges would have had to have been dropped because I was acting in defense of someone else, in defense of those around me, because that's how the law functions, because it's functioning properly when that happens. It's pretty disgusting that no one else did anything to help these people. It sounds like it all. It does sound like someone administered a tourniquet to the man, because that guy wasn't doing that himself, most likely. I doubt he carried a tourniquet. And when you only have one hand to work with, a makeshift tourniquet can be a very difficult thing. So kudos to whoever helped that man out, whoever helped stop the bleeding there, because he could have absolutely died from that. You can't really wrap a tourniquet around the neck, so I'm glad that the gal, he missed her vitals in the neck. I know a dude that got stabbed in the neck pretty bad at a local bar some time ago. And he's an older fellow, and I was surprised he lived, because it just barely missed his carotid artery, which is like right here on the sides of your neck. You open that up, that's where the main blood flow to your brain goes, and you die quick. The carotid and the femoral arteries, you go out, you die really, really fast. You bleed out in under a minute, I believe it is. I used to have the exact time memorized. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. I used to know that. I don't anymore. I would make a terrible assassin. That said, what do you guys think? Why are we hearing about this more and more? Is this something that's new? I don't believe this is a new thing in New York subway system. I think it's ironic that the New York politicians are trying to make it sound like their state in general is safer, but New York City we know is terrible. It's just a terrible place to be for safety. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's not a terrible place in general. I'm sure it's a great place to visit. Probably parts of it are really nice to live in. But I mean, is it more dangerous underground? Is that the change up here? Is the subway more dangerous because of homeless people? I don't think this guy's homeless. Was this guy on drugs? They don't say. I'd love to see a tox report about this dude to show if he was on something. That would maybe explain it more. Because his priors weren't like this. His priors weren't quite that crazy. It seems like a big jump to go from, like I said, fare beating, which is like just jumping over a turnstile, to assaulting an officer, to stabbing two people, slashing two people. I don't know. He was obviously very concerned about what his mother felt about him, obviously, because this guy is the kind of dude that as soon as he goes home, he tries to play it off like, oh, it was because I'm black. Guarantee he would have tried that defense. I'm not saying he won't try that defense. I'm sure he still will. Time will tell. Here's hoping that's not the case. Here's hoping they lock this guy up for a long ass time, or at least they find some way to stop him from progressing worse. Because if he progressed that rapidly without drugs, then he's got something wrong in his brain, and he needs to seriously be evaluated permanently to make sure that he doesn't hurt anyone else. Because the next time, someone might not be so lucky as to survive. Anyway. Here's hoping they throw the book at him, because they have a really hard time doing that with anyone that isn't white. I'm your buddy Moo Juice Magic. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. If you don't like the content, subscribe to the channel, because you can argue with me in the comments and I won't delete them if you're subscribed. You have fun. Talk to you. Love you. Love you in the face. Happy New Year. Something. I need coffee.